Hello everyone, this is your health coach Rahul back again, and today we're going to talk about an interesting topic, and that is sugar and how sugar is mostly misunderstood by all of us. So let's go ahead and see the definition of sugar, what Wikipedia gives us. So sugar is the generic name for sweet tasting soluble carbohydrates. Now the important word over here to focus is sugar is carbohydrates, and the standard Indian diet is nothing but almost 100% carbohydrates. And whatever we think and we assume that that is protein, let's say most of us believe that dal is protein, which is not. So the problem is that it may have certain amino acids, and it can say that, the ingredient list can say it has certain percentage of proteins. But the problem is it is not bioavailable for humans, and that's why whenever we consume any dal, what the reaction by the body is, because it has got also carbohydrates, it's not just protein, our blood glucose levels rise, and that is one of the main problems that we are experiencing. Wrong knowledge or wrong beliefs is one of the huge problems, that because of which most of the population today is suffering diabetes and metabolic diseases, because we have been told wrong things about food, wrong information, and we believe in that. And our educators have been advertisements, our educators have been celebrities, our educators have been newspapers and magazines. And unfortunately, even a lot of papers which are published by scientists are funded, and we end up referring to those papers. So we get confused, and of course, then we have our family and friends who keep us confusing further. So, and yes, don't forget the friendly neighborhood doctor who will always confuse you. So, going ahead, simple sugars, also called monosaccharides, include glucose, fructose, and galactose. Glucose comes from mostly all grains has glucose. The white crystallized form of sugar is a combination of glucose and fructose. If you think about milk, then it has got galactose. So, whatever we are eating, the standard Indian diet is a combination of all these three things. Mainly we eat grains, then vegetables. Vegetables are low glycemic carbohydrates. Again, that is simple carbs. It's going to give you carbs, but it's a healthier form of carbs, I would say, because that keeps your blood glucose levels lower. It may not be healthier in long term if you're consuming a lot of vegetables. Remember, dose makes the poison. Again, milk and milk products. If you are insulin resistant, then probably milk is not a great source of energy for you, but you can still go for cream, because cream is basically where the galactose or the lactose is removed, and what remains is fat. So yeah, these are all secrets of nutrition and what you need to understand. Be smart about choosing what you're eating. So let's go ahead in the definition and check what else we can find over here. And of course, the refined form of sugar is the white crystallized form that we get. So if you just go through these different definitions of sugar on the internet, you will come to understand that it is very confusing, but the word carbohydrate keeps repeating in the definition. And what people think that sugar is different than carbohydrates, no. And the most important part that we all have to understand is, for the human body, what is sugar? The science can define sugar as separate. It can keep carbohydrates as a separate word. When it has to define sugar, it will say sugar is carbohydrates. So it's all very confusing for a layman, and it creates confusion. It creates also a reason to cheat and eat what you like, because then you can justify that carbohydrates are not sugar and I can have carbs. But again, carbs is going to activate the reward center in your brain, and that is going to make you have it again and again, again and again and again and again. And that's exactly what rice does to you. That's exactly what wheat, the roti, the friendly roti does to you. That's exactly what bread does to you. That's exactly what fruit does to you. That's exactly, because they are, the nature of that food is that, what creates an addiction in human brain, because it activates the reward center. And it is deeply connected to our survival mechanism, because sugar gets converted to fat. That excess energy that we eat is going to get converted to fat. And in times of famine and when the winter comes, when there are long periods without food, that's the time the body is going to use fat as energy. And that is what has happened during the times of evolution, when humans didn't have access to food during winter or during famine, and that's when fat stored in the body has helped us convert it to energy and survive those difficult periods. But today, in today's modern world, there's ample food, and the biggest problem that we experience is actually malnutrition. Or we are an overfed population. We are overfed with carbohydrates, but we are lacking in the key nutrients that we all need to consume to become the best version of ourselves and to become the healthiest version of ourselves. And that's why we find that we are eating a lot, there's a lot of food available, but still we are malnourished and we have to depend on supplements and micronutrients, vitamins, etc., etc., etc. And we are also suffering a lot of metabolic diseases. So if you go and check out all these definitions, you'll keep coming back to the same thing. So important part over here to understand is that do not get confused by the word sugar and carbohydrates. Both are same. Okay, so just imagine that if there is one person whose name is, let's say, Kamalnath, and Kamalnath has a nickname called Kammu. So Kammu and Kamalnath both are same. So carbohydrates are also called as sugars. Sugar is also called as carbohydrates, and both is a form of energy for human body. But is it essential energy? No, it is not essential energy. We can survive without eating exogenous, means external carbohydrates. Our body has the ability to convert proteins or amino acids into the required blood glucose that we need. So, but let's say you are someone who consumes a lot of carbohydrates, then what should be done? Then you eliminate the carbs which are basically raising your blood glucose levels really high. So grains, cut out all the grains because they are going to ultimately convert into blood glucose and your blood glucose is going to rise up. So remember, carbohydrates, that's grains, rice, wheat, jawar, bajra, nachni, yeah, all these grains are nothing but entirely carbohydrates. They convert into human body. Human body is basically has a mechanism to break down these grains and convert it into blood glucose. So the blood glucose increases the moment you have rice or chapati or roti, and then over a period of time, let's say 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you become a diabetic because you're constantly consuming excess energy. You're constantly consuming excess carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is nothing but sugar, remember. So even if you are someone who says, I have completely cut down sugar and I don't have sugar, but you are still consuming carbohydrates and that converts to sugar inside your body. So understand what sugars are before you take a step towards cutting down sugar and becoming a healthier version of yourself. So along with sugar, you will also have to minimize your carbohydrate intake and you'll have to increase the better carbs, I would say, not the essential carbs. So vegetables, you can increase it to 80% of your diet. Make your complex carbs, that's basically grains coming from grains, to 20% or less than 20%, and see the magic unfold. You'll start feeling better. And if you want to heal yourself completely, you want to reverse your diabetes, then of course there are experts present. You can come and consult me as well for reversing your diabetes, for obesity, or any other lifestyle condition. But these are the important things what you need to do. So elimination of certain foods which create sickness is very important on a healing journey. Understanding, identifying what is making you sick is important. Eliminate that and stick to simple basics. What is essential? Fat and proteins are essential. So stick to basics and you will thrive. Remember. So this is your health coach signing off. I hope the definition of sugar is clear for you, that sugar and carbs are same. It's the same two names for the same person. So inside the body, remember what is sugar for your body is most important. Whatever you eat, carbohydrates is going to get converted to sugar. So this is your Rahul, this is your health coach, Rahul signing off. and I'll see you again in the next video. Cheers.